In today's video, we're at the Glute Lab.
All by myself.
Let's get it on. Lift yourself up on your feet.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Paul Revelia, and we're here in beautiful San Diego, California at Pacific Beach. We're here at the amazing Glute Lab. Thank you to Bret Contreras. So this weekend was all about coming out to the Pacific USA Championships for my clients, but I tied it in to my man Bret Contreras, and so we did a free seminar tonight from 4 to 7 p.m.
Lift yourself up on your feet. Let's get it on. Lift yourself up on your feet. Let's get it on.
Before that, we got to the gym, lifted some weights. And I got to hang out with a few clients, and then we did a seminar. Didn't really make much of a fuss about it, but man, was it a fantastic turnout. Some great questions. Bret and I both talked about contest prep strategies, the things that go into a contest prep, successful and otherwise, everything from nutrition, diet, supplementation, training, psychology, reverse dieting, all the things that surround the lifestyle that is competition. And I really enjoyed Bret's point of view because he is not a competitor. So it's great to get his take, because I tend to look at things through my lens, and Bret tends to look at things through his lens, and where those two meet is some great information. You know, I used to fight my clients, no, you don't need a meal plan, you need to be flexible dieting. I don't fight them anymore, I help them understand the process and create thermic effective exercise and spontaneous activity. That's what we're doing here, the gym, the cardio, all that stuff. If you're shredded to the bone, it's very, very difficult to screw up a peak, okay? It's very difficult. You can almost just walk on stage like, if you're going to the gym that day, right? So a couple of years ago, I've worked primarily with bodybuilders. When I started working with bikini athletes and going to the shows, I had to pay attention to what they were looking for. I don't need my bikini competitors coming out covered in veins. Well, not this year, next year, but it's also important to pay attention to what's going on in the division, what region of the country you're in, what show you're at. We've all heard this show likes girls hard, this show likes guys shredded. We all know that happens, and it's true. Because I've been to every national show this year for the first time in my life. I've seen it firsthand. So it's important to pay attention to the athlete and what their goals are for stage. Over show day food is way more damaging than if you just didn't eat anything, okay? So we're going to plan show day food based around what you did during prep. I want the same exact foods, small, easy to digest meals, and again, if they're really lean, maybe I'm paying attention to their sodium in their water on the day of the show. I usually have them a couple hours out before stage, have a little bit of sodium. Most of us get a little harder when we have a little sodium, right? It helps us absorb everything. Again, water follows solutes, so you take in some sodium, drink a little water, you start pumping up, the veins come out, right? There's nothing worse. Who here's been at a show, the day of the show, they start pumping up and nothing's happening? You guys ever had that? You look down and there's just nothing happening? It's usually because you didn't drink enough water or didn't have any sodium for a day or two. And then I talked about the linear progressive load. That's my method of loading carbohydrates. And it's specific. It's specific to where the person is during prep. So if they're truly stage lean, you can basically walk carbs up all the way into the show. I found that front loading carbs, like a high day Monday, and then lowering them, what happened was people's metabolisms would speed up. So they would look great on Tuesday or Wednesday. They'd look kind of flat on Thursday or Friday. I'd bump their carbs back up, but it wouldn't be enough. So with the linear progressive load, let's say it might be, so for myself, I did a show a couple weeks, a week ago. What I did was I added 50 carbs every single day. 250, 300, 350, 400, 450 going into the show. And it was a very predictable look for me. I knew the day before, I was a little flat. Next day, a little better. Next day, okay, I'm getting there. I didn't have to wonder what I was going to look like the next day. I knew that just adding a little bit of carbs, 50 for me is a little bit, right? So maybe if it was Paige, I have a good memory, but let me see here. Paige, we probably started in the low 100 to 110 range and went up 20 or 30 per day going into the show, right? And I think we ended up doing 200 the day before the show. So just paying attention to that during the week and making sure she was looking better and harder, and it was a predictable look, right? It just depends on the athlete. Supplementation. Why is this the last slide?
It's important.
Least important. Right. If you're hinging your contest prep on your supplement company, or do I take the right supplements? Now, I'm not talking about drugs here. I don't talk about drugs. I don't have knowledge of drugs. I don't have a problem with them. I just don't think they're necessary for the people that I coach. That's a whole different ballgame. Drugs do different things. I'm talking about the creatine that you use, the whey protein that you use, okay? Is creatine beneficial? Hell yes. Especially if you're a vegan. Why? Because it's a supplement. You're not getting creatine from red meat if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, right? So creatine for you is probably going to be something you respond really well to. Fat burners. It is not a fat burner. It is a I don't eat as much and I move more pill.
Yes.
You take a fat burner, you can move more because you got a little energy. It's like going next door and getting a double espresso, right? Like it's a stimulant, and it helps you not eat more, so you're keeping your deficit. Do I think there are some fat burners better than others? Hell yes. I'm not going to talk about supplement brands.
Your goal should be to make, to be able to see the same results in the most non-suffering way possible. That should be your goal as a competitor. And so some of the stuff I talk about today will involve that. So if it were like this, then Navy SEALs would be winning every competition. But there's more to it than that.
So let's say you have a competitor. Obviously, when you're competing, a big goal is to preserve as much muscle as possible, and one of the best ways to do that is to maintain your strength and your intensity in the gym. But let's say you have a competitor who just is feeling super fatigued and low dieted, and they're not able to maintain that performance and that strength, but they're still not as lean as they should be. Do you continue to cut calories? Do you bring calories back up? What would you do?
Well, there's two types of strength, absolute and relative. I think sometimes we can get hung up. I love coming to Bret's gym and grabbing the 140s and flat pressing them when I'm 230 pounds. I cannot do that right now. But my relative strength is pretty close. I can still do the 120s or the 115s. So it's important to allow yourself to be a little bit less strong and still have quality workouts. You can also make sure you're doing things like deloading. I'm sure you do a lot of you want to push, overreach, and then back off, recover. But that's where things like refeeds really help. Like sometimes, doing a refeed on like a tough training day or having consecutive refeeds, coach, I'm really run down. Let's just give you a couple days of refeeds and let's just see how it goes. Meat goes back up, strength goes back up. Carbohydrates are great for performance, So hopefully my man Chad Nutter, who's behind the lens here, is going to get us some great clips from the event. But mostly, I just want to say thank you to everyone that come out. Thank you to Bret. It humbles me when I travel to something like this and I make an announcement and people actually show up. That is never going to get old. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone that came out. Thank you for guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.